Good evening, everyone. I apologize for this video taking so long to reach you. It's been a busy time around here, as you know. Anyway, this is just the starter video to help you get started, if you haven't already, on your Musique concrete project, and just to offer some just helpful words for it. So, I've imported just 4 sounds here, and I want to just kind of play with the sounds a little bit and see where I get. I'm not going to, in the span of this video, make an entire 60-second piece. I'm just going to kind of chop up the audio, play with plugins, and kind of show you a possible workflow toward your successful completion of this project. Anyway, so let's check out the sounds. I just recorded these sounds on my phone, and then I airdropped them to my laptop, and then I imported them into my Logic session. The way I did that, you have 2 options. You can go Logic Pro File and Import, and then import the audio file into an existing audio track, or you can literally drag the file from the desktop or a folder onto the transport window here in this space, and it'll just create a new track with that audio ready to go. So that's actually the way I did it, but all these are fine. So let's check out these sounds I just recorded, and they're extremely simple. Here's the first one. I'm going to solo it so we can hear it. This is me lightly tapping the column on the second floor out there. Great, there it is. Here is elevator. You can hear the mechanical noises of the elevator. All too familiar. Hopefully not panic-inducing. Anyway, okay, cool. And then here's this one, which is a door. Again, probably a familiar sound around the department. And then this is just me snapping my fingers. I'm going to add some other sounds that are synth sounds and things too. I'm going to kind of think about Poème Electronique, that one by Edgar Varese, as being kind of the model for this demonstration. Not an exact recreation. So one of the hardest things to do getting started with this kind of thing is arranging your sounds in a way that's going to be compelling as a piece of music, as a composition itself. I want you to think about the pieces that we listen to in class. I hope that you've listened to them in their entirety on our website. The thing that stands out to me is, at first listen, they might appear to be a seemingly random collection of sounds. But there's nothing random about the way they're actually arranged in the piece. All of those works have form. There are things that open phrases, things that mark the middle of a phrase or the end of a phrase, things that recur. If you listen to the Poème Electronique, that bell from the beginning keeps coming back. The Beatles' Revolution number 9, that number 9 keeps coming back. So we're using this as unifying gestures. Luckily, we don't have to make a piece as long as those. We're just thinking about 60 seconds. And is a little bit of silence acceptable? Yeah, if it highlights the changes in sounds. Anyway, so I'm just going to make an arbitrary decision here in terms of this piece that I'm making right in front of you live on the video. So let's choose a starting sound. I'm going to move these probably a little bit down the way because I'm going to want to use them again later a certain way. And at the beginning of the piece, I actually want the door sound. And let's say I open the piece that way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this one. I hit Command R to make another one. And that's an exact copy of that one, because I'm going to mess this one up a little bit. If I mess this one up, I mean I'm going to alter it a little bit. So what I actually want to do is I want to overlap, and we're not going to snap to a grid because that doesn't really matter right now. And there it is. Why won't you let me do that right now? Okay, fine. I don't want it. Aha, that's what I was trying to do. It just like would appear and then disappear. What? There. Okay, got it. I'll put it, say, there, and that's pretty interesting, isn't it? Let's go in here and see it. I double click this to get to a closer view. So look, when I zoom in, I can get a clearer view of this. I'm gonna make it bigger. This one's gonna make it bigger. It doesn't make it louder. It's just making it easier for me to see. And I like, right? I like that one a lot. It's right here, isn't it? So to cut that, I can either use my skizzers tool, or I can trim it at the playhead. That's the playhead right there. I like to trim at the playhead. Easier for me. Command T trims at the playhead. T for trim, right? And so where is that last right there. It's right there. So I think right here I'll cut it there. Good. So I actually just want to isolate this section. I know it doesn't look like much. Here, I'll make it a little bigger so it's easier to see. But that's that. So what if I make that my opening sound? That's delightfully strange, isn't it? So what I'm going to do here is I don't know yet if what I want to do is I want to start playing with some plugins on that sound. And I'm probably going to pitch shift it and mess around with it some more. So I'm going to move this to another track. We don't have to stick with these tracks, right? We can make other tracks. And that's because I might use some plugins on this sound that I don't want to apply to the other instances of this sound later. So no problem. Track, new audio track. And this is going to be, I'm just going to call it Hinge Wine. I just duplicated it, clicked and dragged it down to that one. And classic, I am going to change the colors so I know what I'm looking at. Hinge Wine seems like a teal color to me. I don't know. Sure. Yeah, let's do it. Teal color. And what I want to do is start playing with this sound. Now, this part's going to be a little annoying because we're going to hear the sound looping in repetition. So I want to play with it and see what I can do. Let's use a little bit of a tape delay. I don't want it to sync. So the tape delay already has a different character. Okay. What if I'll do it in this window. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this flex tool and I'm just kind of scooting stuff around. We can see the result down here. I'm going to scoot it down here. It's easier to see. Let's use the flex tool. What if I draw this out? Oh, getting some more interesting, aren't we? So what if it immediately repeats that? Oops, I didn't mean to. Command D. Repeat. Command R. Sometimes I hit Command D because I'm thinking in Max. Okay, we already have a weird kind of situation here, don't we? With this, I'm gonna play around with some additional effects here. What would be? I want to put a little reverb, make it spatial. Not a room. I'm using something bigger. Okay, so interesting, right? I have this. Now I'm gonna play with it some more. Where just for now, I'm gonna play with the panning automation, just with this idea because I like this idea that's happening right now. Doesn't mean you have to. You might do something different, but this is just a process of thinking, right? So I'm gonna turn on automation mode so I can see the automation here. And I probably will play with the volume later, but right now I just want to play with the pan. And let's use absolute panning. And what I want to do is start clicking in here. I just did a double click to create a node like this. So when it starts at the beginning, it's going to be at unity, which is 0, which is dead center, right? And then by the time it gets here, I'll make a change there so that after that point, it's going to start moving that away. And then this time, so notice I'm creating 2 nodes in order to drag this one. And so I'm not being super scientific about, the exact value of what something has to be, but I'm just doing this to create some kind of interest where it's moving. So let's listen to it. Now, it might be hard to hear on the computer speakers that are just being recorded for QuickTime, but in my environment, it's moving from left to right. I'm sorry, it's moving to right to left, I mean to say. And so it has some interest to it now. Now, let's exit automation mode. I don't know if I want this door click sound right here. I kind of want the hum of the elevator. I like that a lot. So I'm going to bring the elevator back. And I want to do the same thing where I'm going to make another track. Let's Command D, I'll duplicate the track. In this case, Command D is what I want to do. And then I'm going to copy and then paste. It's going to paste in that other track. So I'm going to mute this one. I'm going to mute this one because I'm playing with this. Let's see how these two things play together. I'm going to repeat these, but only after a certain amount of time. And we're not snapping to the grids. I don't really care about beats or anything like that. I'm just moving it some interval of time in the future. So it's going to come back, but It's not a set interval of time between those iterations. So the real interest of the elevator track doesn't actually occur until maybe here. It's really quiet. You hear that? There's a pitch right there. It's really faint. So what if I do this? Let's shorten this. I think that was me stepping with my foot right there. Yeah, my sandals. So here, let me move it a little more. I love that drone. I love that drone. So I'm gonna clip it right there. And then this is the drone. And if I go in here, let me see. I'm gonna call this track drone. And let me see here. That's fine. Keep that. Let's keep this over here, just out of the way. And I want to hear how this drone and this play together. So let's go back to the beginning. I like it. Now, this is really quiet. This is as good as a recording as I could get. We'll talk about this a little more in our next class. But and don't worry, if you've already made your sounds and you've already completed your project or something, don't worry about it. But for future reference, this signal is really quiet. And the problem with quiet signals is there's always going to be noise, like digital noise, somewhere in there. So oftentimes we really want a strong signal. This is as good as I could get on my phone, and that's okay because I just wanted to show you that we can work with whatever sounds we get. But if you were recording in a studio or doing this like professionally, you would want a much fuller signal where there's more signal, the sound that we want, to the digital noise that's always there. Anyway, so we have this drone. I want to see if I can blow up this drone sound a little more. I don't want to use too much with the distortion, but I think that we could get an interesting sound here. Actually, Bit Crusher was not the one I really wanted. I wanted to use, I actually do like the Chroma Glow. And so I've been playing around with this, and if I... Let's try this one. I like the magnetic one preset. I like that one. So, do you hear all those little sounds in there? The little clicks, but the kind of the almost steady pitch that's in there. Let me use the tape delay. Yeah. Hmm. So suddenly, this very mundane sound is a bit more interesting, isn't it? Now, I'm embracing all that sound, all that noise that's in there. There's one more thing I could do here. Well, there's a lot of things I could do, but there's one more thing I'm gonna do this time. Is I'm gonna put a I'm gonna visualize the frequency bands here in this EQ, and notice that if I make changes to this, we're going to get some drastically different sounds. Let me change the Q. Now, I wouldn't necessarily use the EQ in that way. I'm actually just playing around, raising those frequency bands to see what sounds come out of the texture. This is purely experimental at this point right here. If I put a low cut, this low shelf is dropping all those very low frequencies. I wouldn't really use this, but I'm just looking at it this way to hear it. I'm going to keep the low shelf a little bit just for cleanliness on the low end. And I think I will boost this a little bit right here. It's that air sound. I like that right there. But, you know, to one's own taste, right? Okay, cool. Now, what I'm going to do, we've been listening to a lot of this. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to start to play with the pitch of this. So, a way to do that, if I double click on this, let's go into flex mode. Turn on flex. It's going to process it a little bit. I'm going to do flex time, and let's do flex pitch. So what it's going to do is it's going to analyze it and find, aha, it's going to find one. Go back. I don't like that little snap at the end. So what I'm going to do is, because I actually do want to keep using this, I'm going to use a little fade and draw a little fade right here. See? Shorter. Because I don't want that little snap that was occurring right there. Even less. There it is. Okay, that works. So I've just made another drone. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat it, and I'm going to keep it going, I don't know, maybe for a while. Wow, I have a snap there too. I know, this is a solution for drag, crossfade. Oops, get rid of that bop, bop, pointer. And let's bring them over like this. Let's see. Solve the problem. There was a click I was hearing a second ago, and I didn't like it, and now it's gone. But see what I did? I changed the drag to crossfade, so I just automatically just kind of put them together and crossfade them. I can just do that freely because I'm not so much concerned about exact timings of things, right? We'd have to treat this with a little more nuance and care if we were producing like a guitar track or something. So, wow. So these effects, I don't really think I necessarily want them on this sound. So what I'm going to do is, and this is just a choice of how I'm setting this up. So I'm going to create a new audio track. I'm going to call this one Bell, because I'm going to take this sound and drag it down there. So, wait, back up. So far, I have this ambient opening. Okay, so it kind of sets a prelude. You know what I'm going to do? And I think this will be helpful to you if you're watching this video. I'm going to give this little sections. Because sometimes with a musique concrète piece, because we're not thinking about chorus and verse and bridge, and we're not thinking about exposition or development or things like that, we have to kind of make our own form. When in doubt, humans love ternary form, the thing that we call ternary form. So what if I took this introductory material, did some other stuff later, and then came back to this material? Could be a pretty decent structure. So what I'm going to do up here is I'm going to open this, and I'm going to create a little. I'm going to use arrangement, but I'm going to change the name of it in here. So intro might be fine for you. I'm just going to call this prelude drone whistle. I said whine, didn't I? Drone whine. Prelude drone whine. Those are those beginning parts in this section. Now, I'm doing this just so it can help me keep track of what's going on in the piece. Because that can be one of the hardest things getting started on this is like, where does this start? Where does it go? I literally just took sounds and played around with them, and then out of that, an artistic form started to emerge. There is an improvisatory element to this, even though it might not seem that way because recording seems so final and so absolute. But we're not using tape. We don't have to cut and splice tape. We're just playing with digital stuff here. So now I'm going to bring the bell in. The bell's going to do something. The bell is the next interesting thing, right? That delay is still going from this track. let's mess with the bell. So it's a little too predictable to me. It's bing, bing, and I hear it every day. And so I want to change it a little bit, right? So I'm gonna take this part of the sound and I'm gonna chop it. I'm gonna do something interesting with it. Flex, and let's do Let me do this first. Let me make a duplicate, just so there's no, so I won't regret what I'm doing. Oh no, it crashed. Oh no. Yay! Okay. Where was I? Oh yeah. By the way, I'm pretty sure Logic won't crash on you. It's also that my computer's recording this, and so it's taking up resources to do the thing. So, I'm sure that won't happen to you. Let's do something different so that now flex time slicing pointer. So it's not a continuous sound any longer. Oop, no. Just chopping it up. In context. Aw, nope. That's too much for it right now. How unfortunate. Luckily the autosave caught it. Okay, so we're not going to use that one on this because it's overload with the recording that's happening. That's okay. I'm gonna play with this. What's gonna happen? Oh, ba, ba, ba. So I'm actually just trying to create accidental things right now. I'm serious. That's pretty messed up, right? Put a little bit of put a little delay on there. I just want to hear crossfeed. Ooh. So going back. So I'm going to choose to leave that sound there like that. I might go back and play with it more. There's a little like a click transient in there I don't like, but I'm gonna let it lie for now. just to keep moving. And I want to bring this door sound in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scoot this out of the way. By the way, do you see how I'm like building this linearly? I want to go up here. Did I lose my arrangement? Nope. My arrangement's gone. I must have hit a button or something silly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace it with marker. Fine. And I'm just going to say prelude. What did I say? Wine and thing. Other thing. Drone. Wine drone. Great. And then when I get to here, this is the bell. This is the next interesting thing that occurs. So I'm going to put it right here. Put a marker that says bell. And the marker is just going to go on indefinitely until you end it somewhere. So just don't worry about that. Now, I don't want to slam the bell part over and over again. I want to use this door part that we haven't really played with. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I wanted just to drag it. So I'm going to drag this over here. And I guess the question is, it's interesting to hear that again in that context. It's a little different now. Yeah, that's heavy. Okay. So the question is, how do we just get that? Maybe there? Let's hear it. Oops. Come back. There. You know what? I didn't intend for this to happen this way, but I actually really like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the gain tool and I'm going to lower the gain because I don't want to lower the whole track. I hope you think that's interesting. I think that's interesting. The way the bell and the door sound sit together. Interesting. I'm going to keep it bone dry. I'm not going to put that on there. I'm going to try the stereo spread and see if I like the effect of it. In context. You know what? I've changed my mind about something. Go here, and I want to make... Oh, so sorry. Yeah, there we go. Wait. I know what I want. Told you I would do this live. There. Ba-da-da. Ba-da-da. Ba. Ba-da-da. Ba. Right? Ba-da-da. Ba. Door with distance. Ba-da-da. Ba. What is she talking about? Where are you? I'm getting tired. I'm getting sleepy. I'm getting sleepy. Been here all day. Okay. Oh. Oh. What's happening? Got it done. Bah! Right? Got it done. Bah! You know what? Yeah. Check this out. Lower the volume. I don't need this right now. I'm going to automate the volume. Got. Bow! And then make it loudest at the last one. So to do that, automate volume. And what I'm going to do is, yeah, I made it a little quieter to begin with. And when it comes in, I actually want it to start pretty quiet. And then by this point, it'll be getting louder. I automated the volume. Let's see if this has the effect that I'm pursuing. It needs to be more. It needs to be more. Make it awkward. That's weird, man. Okay, let's hear what we have so far. Okay. There's still more I can do. It's not done by any means, but I want to talk about adding other sounds. So I like it if you make your own weird sounds by chopping things up and playing with plugins, but you have additional options as well. So consider this. I'm going to create a software instrument track. And I'm going to open the library, show library, so I can see presets and things over here. So now, I want I'm going to start with just a simple a synth first before I play with the library's presets. Synthesizer retro synth. This is the one we talked about in class, right? Pretty straightforward. I'm going to make a keyboard for myself. Now, I want to make a weird sound. See what we can do. So, I want noise. I want square wave. Mix of both. That's fine. Yes, yes. How about a little more of oscillator too? A little more square. So if I keep that key going, so what I want to do is I want to attempt to change those parameters by automation. Let's check it out. So instrument 1, yada yada, it's this track. I wish I had more screens. So automation. Now notice, because we have something different on this track, our automation gives us more options. So it's pulling all the options from the instrument, that retro synth, right? This extra MIDI stuff is for adding sustain pedal expression if you had extensions and like automating controls on automating MIDI commands, basically. Retro synth, I'm gonna go to where is my mind? The filter. And what I need to change, what was the parameter? So I'm here in the filter, and I need to change the cutoff frequency, and I need to change the resonance. And this is a possible, you don't have to do this, by the way. This is just me showing you a way to get some weird sounds like they had in Poem Electronique, right? Go back here. I'm getting tired. After jazz band. Okay. I want to change the cutoff. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I want to just regular old cutoff. And what was really happening here was we were starting back. Yeah, see how it moves on the screen? It's in the train. It's moving. So I'm going to start it here, and then let's say I'm going to do it here. Add a node, add another node. Yeah, that's where I want it. Now at the same time as this comes forward, we're going to up the resonator as well. Resonance, I mean to say. Tired. And then at the same, pretty much the same rate. I don't really care if it's dropping down from the beginning, just because and I think the peak is about 60, so as not to become too unruly. So if I then, let's see it. See the automation. The automation is working. See how it's changing in the instrument? So if I'm playing a note, wow, that's... And then tell you what, let's make it go away real quick. It goes back. Real quick. Yep. Pretty subtle. I can always go back and change those things. But let's do that where I'm going to record that note and then I might bounce that audio and mess with it some more. So here we go. Let's just record. Notice we haven't recorded a single thing yet. We've just been dropping other recordings into our digital audio workstation. Now I'm going to record it. Let's start about here. No, I'll sneak in with that note there. Don't need to count off. Don't need anything. Interesting. Take that out of the way. Take this out of the way for a second. So, cool. That works. Let's hear this in context. And it is just that one note. If I move it, give me a second here. Aha. The automation data is going to stay in the same place. To move the automation data, you'd have to gather it and move it. So we're not gonna bother with that right now. I'm gonna leave it right where it is, and then. Okay. What if I do this? Okay, wait, hold on. So what I want to do now is I'm gonna turn it into audio, and then I actually want to make a hard cut right there at one of the spots, and then have the door sound again. So let's bounce in place. What I did was I right-clicked it or double-click on a touchpad, and I'm going to hit bounce in place. Give it a name, synth 1, and new track, new file, mute the original. Yes, okay. And look, there it is. There it is as audio. Yay. So what I actually want is when I moved it, the start of the note became too much for me. So I'm going to use my fade tool and have it fade in. But then what I wanted to do was cut it. Like right there. Probably right there. Cool. No click sound. And so, yeah, I want that to be very abrupt. That's my choice. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna zoom out. We don't need this guy right now. I need a door sound. Maybe it's that one. Maybe I just bring back these guys. Yep, Control C. I'm sorry, Command C. Pasted, cut and paste. Let's zoom in and I'm gonna scoot them over. And maybe not all of them, but I wanna see. You know, I just want the one, actually. Yeah, just the one. Don't need you. So Maybe these guys come back. Ever since I made my cursor bigger, it's been doing that to me where, yeah, kind of a funny thing. Just twice. Yeah, maybe this time the volume is lower for this track. So the drum comes back, but it's quieter. Super subtle. It's there. So this is nearly a minute. So it didn't take very much to get to this point. Is it done? No. Does it have full thematic unity? No, not yet. This is a work in progress, and I just want to demonstrate to you how you could engage with these things. Are there right or wrong answers? I think there's choices that are more interesting and less interesting. Is anything right or wrong? No, you're making a composition. Be creative with it. Mess up the audio, play with it, get to places where maybe you don't know how you got there exactly, and that's okay. This is a very open-ended piece. If I go back and listen to my work so far, I would want that to fade in, but sure. There's still things I would do with it. There's this, yeah, but not terrible for just doing it live in front of you on the camera. So yeah, it actually does have a type of unity to it. If I spent more time with it, I would. If I spent more time with it, I would continue to EQ things and make them sit a certain way together, just so they sit better in the mix. I'd play more with the panning. I would add a little more volume automation. Probably experiment with a few more sounds. I could see this my version being satisfactorily completed at about a minute 30 of having like everything I want to say in there. I would probably add some compression, which we haven't talked about, which we'll probably talk about in our next class, just to kind of bring out some of the subtle things of the sounds, and again make them kind of sit together a certain way. But yeah, so anyway, there you have it. This is the help video for the Musique Concrète project. Yeah, I hope you have fun with this and experiment. Um, and please do not be afraid to reach out to me if you have questions. Yeah. Anyway, I will plan to see you on next Tuesday where we'll talk about the final project and some other topics. Anyway, have a good weekend and I'll see you then. Bye.